I was raised primarily on 75th and Morgan. We, for a while, could not go past Ashland, and then we could not go past, and really not being able to process why. Why are these people so angry with me? Why are they calling me this? Why wasn't I supposed to ride across the street anyway? Why? Nobody ever talked about that. I think that when I was growing up, Black folks just accepted some things. This is just the way it is. And like I said, even, with the exception of this really, really poignant thing that my mom said to me at 10, which really, again, is one of those things I will never forget. And it did change my perspective to some degree. And of course, she followed it up with other things. She put me in charm school and, other things like that to try to help me. But yes, I think that if we hadn't been so afraid to talk about that, Black folks were scared of white people. I mean, I grew up afraid of white people. I grew up feeling intimidated by white folks. I grew up not feeling like I was as good as they were. And if you hear a tinge of anger in my voice, I'm still mad as hell about that. Because I feel like maybe my ACT scores wouldn't have been as low as they were if I had felt like I had a chance or I was as good as they were. So yes, it should have been talked about. We should have been empowered. But it was the time. It was just the time. People were afraid.
Being a mother is already one of the hardest jobs in the world, but for many Black mothers, raising a family has often meant dealing with unfair stereotypes and being judged before anyone even knows their story. Across America, there have been many moments where Black mothers have faced criticism or disrespect in everyday life. Yet time and time again, they have shown strength, dignity, and resilience, and many communities have stepped forward to support them. This story is about more than one uncomfortable moment. It's about why standing up for Black mothers matters. Let's take a closer look.
Walking rant. As a Black woman, never argue with a man, especially a white man in a professional setting. My mother told me why. And if your first thought is, oh, it's respectability politics, or you don't want to look like the angry Black woman, it's none of those. It's because arguing with white men in a professional setting turns them on. That may sound like the craziest thing. My mother taught me so many of these little microaggressive type tidbits when I was growing up, and I, in my head as a young person, I was like, that stuff ain't true. That's some old school stuff. No one's like that. She's bringing stuff from the 50s. Well, I got a story about it. I worked at BBDO, that dreadful advertising agency, for years. I had an awesome boss. He was a white dude. He was the greatest. That's the reason why I worked there so long, because he basically let me do whatever I wanted to do. And that's always nice. So I've been working there probably about 5 or 6 years at this point. And we would have really in-depth conversations about life and race and bounce stuff off of each other because he was cool people. One day we were talking about racism, and he basically said,
well, Barb, you probably don't experience a lot of racism because you're really pretty. And I just don't think, like you being hot, you'd experience any racism.
And I was like, Bob, what are you talking about? When people see somebody Black, if they're racist, they're not going to go, oh, she's Black and hot, I like her. They're going to go, she's Black, ugh. We were really getting into it because he couldn't really understand it, because he liked me as a person and he thought I was good looking. He thought no one would ever be mean to you. I'm like, that's for the white women. That's not for us. As we're talking about it, I get kind of heated and I go, I don't understand why you would think that way. As I'm talking, I start telling him my point. I'm looking at him. He leans back in his chair and he goes, I catch it. As I'm talking about something that I feel passionate about, he sits there, leans back and smiles. And I immediately dial it back because what my mother told me years before hit me. I stop and I go, what are you smiling about? And he goes,
as you're stating your position, you're doing all this and all that and, waving your hand and your head.
I go, no, I'm not. You guys only know me through this app. Would you ever believe that? Would you ever believe that that is how I would argue with somebody doing this? Of course not. I told my mom that when I left work, and she goes, he saw all of that in his head. started talking passionately about what I felt about racism, what he felt about racism. But when I was talking passionately, somehow it turned him on. And now he couldn't listen. Now he went into a whole fetish fantasy of me bobbing my head. I bet it was in slow motion. You know, I don't read. He probably even saw me talk differently. Bob, you know why I don't like my position. Right then, I was so annoyed. My mother was right. I let myself be too comfortable in that relationship. Even though I didn't raise my voice, I wasn't angry, I was just passionate. He saw it how my mother said he would see it and fetishized the whole dialogue. It was highly disappointing. You may be asking, so Barb, what's the why behind it? I personally don't know, but my mom said they just get kicks out of seeing black women angry. That's why that whole angry black woman trophy thing even started, because they get sexually aroused out of seeing angry black women. My mom be dropping some knowledge, don't you? Just in a professional setting, keep all that passion to yourself. Is it tone pleasing? Of course it is. But do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? That is a huge problem with us, is that we want to be right because most of the times we are right. So now we try to fight for our position because we're like, could you just see the light? And it continues on this app, rage bait. Now our rage is monetized. And every time y'all be falling for it. Somebody says something crazy, you jump in their posts or whatever. Please stop taking the bait because people love to see black women angry and mad and in their feelings. So stuff in the 1950s still pertains to 2025.
Black people. Here we go. I would like to personally apologize to you guys. For years, I used to judge your guys' hair. Did you ever comb it and wash it? And I used to make fun of you guys because you would never get your hair wet. Because now I understand what you all go through. Now my son, he's not 100% black. He is mixed. And it gets wet, it shrinks to his head. And it's a nightmare. A nightmare.
Now, as someone who has a biracial son, I feel very qualified to say your son's hair is not a nightmare. Girl, be so for real. There is so much racism that woman has not unpacked, but thought because she had a black baby that it would suddenly disappear. Honey, I feel so bad for him. I really do. And this is what we mean when we sit back and say, yeah, we can tell if your mom was white, if your mom was black. We can definitely tell. And now that poor boy's biggest hater calling him, saying his hair is too much, is so hard to deal with, and she's now realizing you didn't realize nothing, honey. You just had a biracial child. You're showing it off, and you want to act like you suddenly understand the plight of black people. Shame on you, and shame on your husband.
You know, if all I ever did was call out racist, more specifically racist white women, I'd have no shortage of content. Whether it's the woman in her feelings because black-owned businesses exist and she's not the target demographic, even though never have I ever seen a black-owned business say, you can't shop here, when in the not too distant past, we did see white-owned businesses say that, which is why black-owned businesses had to exist in the first place. Or the woman, upon hearing dear white women, is so internally offended that she felt the need to rebut, not understanding that in that moment what a black woman is doing is trying to give her a perspective that she's never going to get on her own. Because, newsflash, she's not black. It doesn't matter your proximity to blackness, you're never going to fully understand the black experience. And that in that moment, all you need to do is shut the fuck up and listen. And if it applies, take it. If it doesn't, just let it go. Because of the thousands of things that you'll see on the internet every day, not everything is for you or about you. And if it's not about you, it doesn't require a response. So in short, if it applies, take it. If it doesn't, be like Elsa. Let it go.
Knock on the door. It's my neighbor. She thought I was the help when I first moved into a predominantly white neighborhood. Just as recent as a week ago, I arrived to my second office where my name is on the desk. There's someone sitting at my desk. I say, hey, I'm such and such. Do you want to switch because the desk next to mine was empty? He says, oh, such and such told me to sit here. I said, yeah, I'm aware, but I'm such and such, pointing to my nameplate. Do you want to switch? And pointed to the empty desk next to me. He says, yeah, but such and such told me to sit here. Another gentleman had to say, hey, bro, she's not asking you to move. She's telling you to move, but she's doing it politely. White man sitting at my desk. White man had to tell this man to move. The person that first knocked at my door when I purchased my home was a white woman. We are tired. Imagine this being your life every single day, and even the most minor things. You can be standing in the store standing in line at the store, and they act like they don't see you. Oh, are you standing? Are you in line? What do you think? I'm just standing here? We're tired. And imagine this being your life every single day. Imagine having to train your children on how to engage and interact just because of the color of their skin. Imagine your heart sinking when you get home and your black son is sitting outside at the bottom of the steps leading up to the front door of your home because he locked himself out in a predominantly white neighborhood right after Trayvon Martin. He has his hood on his head. You don't know what that feels like. We're tired. We're tired of working twice as hard to be just as good. We're tired. We're tired.
Hey y'all, I was at Cheesecake Factory getting something to eat, early supper, late lunch, whatever, and it was pretty crowded as it always is. So I asked the hostess to seat me and my daughter over at one of the tables across from the bar. Place was crowded, people waiting and all of that. So we sit, server comes, get our appetizers, get our drinks and whatnot. And then I look at the bar, right? Because there was this older black woman, you can't really tell how old black women are, but she just reminded me of my mother. So I say like in that age group, my mother, my auntie's age group, 70, maybe even 80, I don't know. So she goes to the bar and she goes to sit down. And there's a seat in between her and this white dude, right? Middle-aged white dude. He didn't look like nothing special. So she turns to him and asks him, hey, is anyone sitting here? He turns to her and cusses her into the ground, like saying all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, he called this woman so many different kind of things and names. He called her everything under the sun but a child of God, okay? And I'm like looking around. This place is freaking packed. A lot of black people, black men, black women, all of that. No one moves. People pull out their camera, but no one fucking moves. This guy gets in this woman's face, and I tell my daughter, not on my watch. I jumped the fuck out of my seat. I stood between him and her, and I turned to her and I said, are you okay? Are you safe? Do you want me to handle him? Do you want me to take care of him? Do you need anything? She looked at me and was shaking a little bit, not to show her hand that she was nervous and afraid. Very stoic, very stylish looking woman. And she said, I'm waiting for my daughter. So what I did was I pointed to my table and I said, I'm sitting right across with my daughter. I'm watching him and I'm watching you. If you need anything, and if he says anything more to you, I'll take care of him. You need not worry. And I looked at him, I turned around, I looked at him and I just stared at him. I didn't say a word to him. I really wanted to pop him because I don't really like for white people to go off on black people. It's just something in my spirit. It just makes, it bothers me, like this bile in my throat. It just makes me want to do some things. But anyway, I digress. So I turned to him and I'm like, why don't you go sit down? Anybody sitting in this seat? He's like, no. And I said, well, her daughter's coming and she's going to sit in this seat. You got a problem with that? He's like, no. Bartender comes over to him and tells the white guy, hey, here's your check. I turned around and I said to the woman, elderly black woman, I'm right across from my daughter. If you need anything, I'm right here watching. So I go back to my table, and my food comes and everything. Now the woman to the left of me, there was two white women to the left of me, and they're like, "Oh, I saw that. Oh, I can't believe." I'm like, "Bitch, why didn't you get up and say anything?" All these black people to my right, not near one of them got up and said any fucking thing, okay, about helping this woman. Didn't do anything. I'm the only person that got up and did something. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of world are we living in if we can't protect a black woman? Okay, so I get back to my seat. We eat our food. Everything is great. Her daughter eventually comes and she sits at the bar and they order their food and they're having a great time. And so after my daughter and I are done, we go pay our bill. I get up, I walk out, and I look to her and I tell her, are you okay? Everything's all right. Are you still good? She's like, yes, I'm safe. Thank you. My daughter's here. I feel good. She tells her daughter, yes, this is the woman who helped me when that guy, behind me was really hollering at me. And her daughter wanted to get into it. And I'm like, it's okay. I handled it. You need not worry. So I say all that to say this. I don't understand how it is so easy for us to pull our phone out and record, but not say nothing. I'd be damned if I'm gonna let somebody to come out of their neck and talk to older black woman, or any black woman for my part, but particularly older black women, because she remind me of my mother and my aunties. And I'm like, we not on my watch. We ain't doing that here, okay? So that really stuck with me, because the part that really bothered me was nobody got up to say anything. After the fact, when I'm already seated in my chair and I done took care of every motherfucking thing, then everybody got shit to say. But until then, before then, during then, ain't nobody got shit to say. Everybody's recording. I don't give a fuck about your camera. Don't record. Do something. Let me tell you people, y'all, never on my watch. Let me just say that. Never, ever, ever will you ever disrespect a black woman on my watch, because I promise you I will go up one side and down the other. So, yeah, not on my watch, baby.
Black mothers have played an extraordinary role in shaping families, communities, and American history. For generations, they have raised children through economic hardship, discrimination, and social challenges while continuing to build strong homes, encourage education, and support their communities. Their resilience has inspired countless people and helped create opportunities for future generations. When a black mother is unfairly embarrassed or judged because of stereotypes, many people see it as part of a much larger issue. Instead of looking at her character, hard work, or sacrifices, some people make assumptions before knowing the facts. That is why moments of public support matter. When neighbors, bystanders, or online communities speak up, they send a powerful message that respect should never depend on race. They remind everyone that black mothers deserve the same dignity, kindness, and understanding as any other parent. Supporting the black community means recognizing the strength of black women who continue to overcome obstacles while raising families, leading businesses, serving in the military, teaching students, caring for patients, and making lasting contributions to society. The truth is that black mothers have always been far more than the stereotypes placed on them. They are leaders, caregivers, professionals, entrepreneurs, and role models whose impact reaches far beyond their own families. In the end, this story isn't just about one confrontation. It's about what happens when a community chooses to stand with a black mother instead of staying silent, and why respect, fairness, and compassion should always be stronger than prejudice. What do you think? Why is it important for communities to stand up when someone is treated unfairly? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below.